eventually as an investor. And so for me, I mean, I could tell you, I'm not going to go and bore you with my story, but it's a doozy. And real estate was my salvation. And real estate investing has been my, my heaven, because I don't have to sell. I'm not doing open houses anymore. I'm not, fiddling around trying to get my next escrow and close my next escrow to pay my rent. Like, it was life changing. Like, I live large now. Like, I go to the casino on a Wednesday. I watch Netflix on a Friday. I go and visit my site and take my guys lunch on a Tuesday and, rap with them and hang out. And then I go to my next, I go look at lofts in Long Beach and have fish and chips after. I mean, that's my life. It's so amazing. And I just keep saying that because if you're, it's time to get started in real estate investing. 2020 should be your year. Don't let any more years go by that you're, working 9 to 5, missing your kids, asking bosses for days off. That's not where it's at. Real estate, there's opportunities. And if you continue on with our group, you will meet the right people. And one of the right people that are in the room right now is Karen, because Karen Moore is with Trillion, and she gives me all my money on all of my deals, and she'll give you all the money on all of your deals.
Love you. Yeah, I will tell you, I'm just going to start off with that with a negative, sorry, but I will tell you that if it's not a deal, I'll tell you. So we're not going to lend you money on something that we don't think you'll make money, even if we'll make money, because we're careful about how much we lend on deals. So, but still, there's lots of companies out there that will lend regardless, just because they're safe. But we want you to be safe too, and we want you to keep coming back. I mean, that's a great business model for us, but it also helps us sleep at night, right? So we really want to get you out there and succeed and keep coming back. But the things that make us stand apart are really those things that we are really there for you, and you feel it in the deal. We really shine brightest when you get in trouble. We bend over backwards to get the deal done. We don't flip ourselves, and we don't want your deal. We don't want to flip. So every meeting we have where there's someone in trouble, it shocks me how many times we give chances and make new rules to really help people get done. I mean, I'm not going to say we've never done a foreclosure, but we did 8 years of business before we did our first foreclosure. So we really, really, really do everything we can.
You haven't mentioned who you work for.
Oh, she did.
Oh.
Trillion.
Okay.
I'm Karen Moore. I'm a Trillion family. Okay, so sorry about that. But we also don't have any junk fees. So what you see is what you get. We tell you what's going to cost, and there's no surprises. So there are companies out there that have lower, let's just say, quotes than we do. But test this. You can try one of those, but you'll still save money with us almost every single time. Every time someone's gone to like a lower cost, we still cost less, even if our numbers are a little higher, because of how
junk fees, first of all.
no junk fees, but also how we work. We're just really customer service based. If you bring me a deal, you have me through the whole deal. So you're not getting passed around to different departments. You're not getting someone you don't know every time, and we get you your money fast. We can close in 2 or 3 days if we need to. We prefer to have longer. Please bring that time, but we can do it if we need to. We save people from deals where other lenders back out the last minute or change their terms with, when you think you're going to fund that day and you find out that something's changed. So
you have no idea how important that is. We've been doing a lot of stuff in Florida, but in California, we're like, why can't Trillion lend in Florida?
Yeah.
Because there's just so much easier, and that was our experience in Florida. Last minute, boom, as we're driving to Florida, they changed everything, and we had to pull $20,000 out of our ass to close the thing. And because underwriting gets everything like 3 minutes before you close and change it. Not so, Karen.
Yeah, so with us, I'm the underwriter. I do every single part of the transaction. We're not like farming out the stuff. So I come and do the inspections myself. I do the underwriting myself. Is the first thing we do. So I'm not going to say nothing's ever changed, but if we changed our rules at the last minute, we wouldn't be getting loans. So we really don't do that. And I just got a text today from Marianne. Why can't you lend today? Why can't you lend in Florida? We don't want to
have that conversation fairly often.
And you guys, if you invite her to an inspection and you bring her an egg souffle and a chai latte, she's gonna do the loan. I figured that one out.
That may have got you a little bit extra. I'm not gonna say that loud. But anyway, don't bring me fat stuff. Seriously, I'll eat it. But
and then I drove her around, like, let me drive you around the comps. Just eat, no problem. She was like happy
to it. I'm like, it was a good day. But anyway, so I'm Karen. I'll be here after. I'd love to chat with you individually and get names and faces to match those names. And I'm so happy to be a part of WREN. This is sort of fills my heart.
Thanks for
Not
being
sort
here.
of. Thank you. I was in LA yesterday. Here today. This is really family for me, and I really love to help women succeed and keep succeeding. And I think that's what we're all here for, really. So I look forward to meeting you, and I'll be here. And if does anybody want a card, I can just pass it out now.
Give one to
I have a little
everybody.
picture
Even
of
if
it.
you don't think you need it, take it. You're gonna need it.
So do you just live here then?
California, I do.
You're, in all the states?
What's that?
You do all states?
No,
Only
just California.
We're only California right now, yeah. So we actually have cards on the side.
They're really, really helpful for new investors.
back there.
But you'll notice if you start trying to apply for hard money as a new investor, they will ask you your experience first and foremost and start running your credit. It gets pretty lively and scary. Trillion does not run your credit. Trillion does not care about your experience. They care about the deal, and if they have a little concern at all, they might ask you what contractor you're using, or who's your mentor, or who's going to help you through the process. But it's really like a case-by-case, common sense type of a loan.
Thank you for adding that. Yeah, it's a big deal that we do work with first timers.
It is my
not
first
people
one.
alone. So, and
Most.
most of them, yeah. So we'll work with you first time, as long as you have like someone with experience, your contractor's done a bunch of stuff, or you have a mentor or something, then we want to see that you're gonna we're not gonna just lend to someone who has no support and it's their first deal, obviously, because we don't want you to fail. But yeah, if you have the support and have what you need to get it done, we'll do it and get you done. So thanks. Sorry, I jumped back in there.
No, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you came. And again, this isn't a sales pitch. We don't get any kind of referrals from her. I tell you to use her because that's who I use, and I've gone out and used others and went, yeah, I'm going back to Trillion. Even just getting your money on your construction, getting paid out on your what are they called? On your draws, excuse me, thank you. When you get paid out on your draws, very easy with Karen. She always gets out there quickly, or you send her pictures if it's an easy draw and it's just demo and whatnot. So really, really nice. You're not begging for the draws and waiting another 3, 4, 5 days, which your crew doesn't appreciate. You have it the same day or the very next day in your bank account. That just really matters. Anyway, so thank you so much. So let's finish real quick on the introductions, and then that way we can finish off with Clarissa and have a lot of time to talk and ask questions, because she's a wealth of knowledge, and I know she's going to make you guys, your head spin and with lots of questions. So Karen, you go ahead next.
Hi, my name is Kathy McBullet. Sorry, my baby was
I have a
making
dog.
so much
And Bella.
I'm a business developer, and I have done many deals before, and I'm working right now on a 6,000 square feet home remodeling. And I have a nursing home, I have assisted living for seniors. So here, just wanted to learn about everything, and
I need some Olive Garden.
I'm sorry?
And have some Olive Garden.
Exactly. That's it.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for being here again. Who hasn't gone? Who hasn't gone? Oh, who's next?
I'm a real estate broker. I'm 4 weeks into my first flip, so hopefully almost done. So hopefully next month I'll have some really good news.
Do you feel like WREN inspired you at all to just
Well, your
take that
post
chance?
did. My mom kept. People have asked me for 5 years, why aren't you flipping? Because my husband's really handy. But he had a job, and then he quit his job 3 days after I came here. After we got the keys to the flip, and I'm like, holy shit, okay, we do this now.
Yeah.
So, but it's going well.
That's really awesome.
Yeah,
And you know we're all
congratulations.
here for you, right? I mean,
Thank
you can
you.
ask for anything that you need. Any referrals to handymen, painters, contractors, that's important, and we're here for you.
Thank you.
Go right ahead.
Hi, my name is Twee. I just quit my job. Tuesday was my last
Jobless
day.
and fabulous!
I actively started investing in real estate about 9 months ago-ish.
Wow.
But I mean, I'm not like financially there, but I just said, you know what, it's not in alignment with me to be. I have a 5-month-old and an almost 3-year-old, and I said, you know what, this is my priority right now. In real estate is going to be that way for me. to have the life that I want with my family and everything else. And again, just being in the job that I was in, although I loved the people that I worked with, just it didn't make my heart sing. And I am absolutely obsessed with real estate. Like, I'm playing with my daughter and I'm thinking about like that email that I want to send about this deal that I looked at before she woke up. And anyway, but it's like in a good way, obsessed. So I'm just really excited for what the future holds.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you.
I love our group.
Hi, my name is Colette. I do real estate, but I'm trying to transition into investing, and I'm just kind of learning everything at the same time, and I'm realizing that it's a totally different monster, so I'm kind of struggling a little bit, but hopefully I'll get there, and we'll see what happens from here. But I'm here to learn and see what other opportunities are out there.
That's wonderful.
You just started. You're gonna get there. You're not
Yeah.
struggling. She started like a week ago.
She's
I'm
very-
struggling.
She's being very humble. I've talked to Colette a few times, and she's a hustler. She's already been lining up her private money, her hard money. She's fishing deals. She's doing it. She's not talking and learning. She's actually doing it. Which is really,
Yeah, you are humble.
really commendable. You're brave,
Thank you.
and I love that about you.
So my name's Megan, and me and my husband bought properties. I guess, well, we have a fourplex and a Airbnb in Colorado. So, and then we're under contract actually for another property in Cleveland, Ohio, a triplex and a single family on the same lot. Although we had to split them, so that was a headache. But hopefully it's gonna go through, and we should find out about it in the next month. And I also have a 5-month-old and an almost 3-year-old, and I sell eyewear by day for the last 13 years.
No
and
wonder
I'm
your
over
glasses
it.
are so
I know,
dope.
they're
Yes.
I love
I
it.
caught them last month. I was like, that's hot. She's
I
got
have a
style.
lot of eyewear, but I'm over it. I mean, it's kind of part-time and it's good money, so that's why it's hard to quit. But the goal is just to be able to replace my income through real estate.
Passively.
Yes.
So you can hold your baby
Because
in one
I've got
hand
a
and cash
taste
the
of
check in
it.
the
I've
other.
got a taste of it and I want more.
Yay! Yay! That's awesome. Right ahead.
Hi, I'm Harriet Vital. I'm a realtor licensed in Houston, in Texas. I went back to work corporate America here. They transferred me here, so I'm working in the semiconductor industry. And I'm more of the person that would connect you with your boots on the ground people.
And Texas is where a lot
It's
of people are.
huge. And some
huge.
realtors will not go in certain areas, so I'm still mapping out areas and connecting with different realtors and inspectors. So.
Well, you're good to know then.
Yeah.
Do you have a card or anything that you can? Okay, wonderful. So make sure to hit up Harriet because as you'll learn, especially if you go to Ignite, there are some really big investors that are doing a lot in Texas right now. And I mean, they've been, but they're still doing it. They got the kitty, they're called the kitties, right? They're doing I asked them what your hot area is, and they said, like, what is your main focus right now? And they said Dallas Fort Worth, which I was surprised. I thought that was like already expensive and done, but it's interesting. That's why you listen to these ladies because
because
they're
you know
doing
what? They're probably saying Dallas, but it's like.
Yeah, they're doing the outskirts, of
Yeah.
course.
It's past the airport.
Yeah,
There's huge developments
Of
going
course,
in, that's
of
why.
course. Right, that makes sense. Go right ahead.
Hi, my name is Christina. I'm from Riverside County, and currently I'm a dietitian by day for the county of Riverside, but I'm looking into getting jobless and fabulous. Currently, the only thing I've been doing is like learning since last year in June. I've been coming to several of the WREN events. I signed up for Ignite. So I'm
Awesome.
just, hungry to learn. And my 3 main areas of interest have been out-of-state investing. I want to learn about flipping here in California, and possibly mobile home flipping. And the only thing I've kind of done is like read about the easiest way to start is just like house hacking, which I currently do right now. But yeah,
What's
so,
that? Define house
Like
hacking.
just in your home when you rent out like another room or another side of.
Oh,
they help
I
you
hadn't
down
heard
your
that
market.
term. I'm sorry.
What
House
was that
hacking.
term?
House
House
hacking.
hacking.
See, in my culture, that's just what we do.
Yeah.
We rent every room, so I'm like, oh my god. I used to always be like, oh my god, she has it like a hotel, but it's house hacking.
I thought that renting in your house was more an Airbnb kind of thing.
No.
That's short term.
It's just a different
No,
name
yeah.
for it now.
I have a good friend that's a bartender. She's single and she has got a 3-bedroom in Garden Grove, and she has always has her 2 rooms rented. Not only is she not alone, right? Because she's alone. But she just quit her job and she's like, oh, I've got savings and these guys pay my mortgage. I'm like, oh my God, that's so freaking cool. She's a real estate investor and she doesn't even know it. She thought she was a bartender. I was like, oh, you're an investor. She's a house girl. She's a house girl. I'm literally going to text her that right now. I love it. Thank you. I learned something tonight. That's awesome. Hey, who else hasn't spoken and said hi? Claire. Claire's my baby. She's my buddy.
Claire Cheney, I've been REN has been huge in my development, and including Jen's class and just REN in general. I like the lady vibe, and it's just like the testosterone starts poisoning you after a while. Not that I don't love men, I do. But anyway, so it's been quite a journey. This last year we really kicked off. We ended up doing a lot in Florida, which was not the plan, but it happened, and it's you make your plans, and then whatever happens happens. So we are, we're just really having a good time with it, and we're looking to do stuff in California. I got no objection doing stuff in California. It's just this has just come like on a silver platter. So. And we've got some stuff in Illinois too, and actually some really good opportunities that I was thinking I was going to have to pass on, but now I'm having second thoughts about that. So
that's why you come to the meetings.
It is exactly why I come to the meetings.
I always say with balls, but then everyone tells me no, it's with ovaries. I'm like, fine. You leave with ovaries when you come to our meetings. It's totally true.
Steel ovaries.
Yes. Don't try to hide, girls. Your turn. Come here.
In California, and I went out of state a few years ago and invested in Pennsylvania, and I do short-term rentals on Airbnb as well.
Yeah. The shy ones, they're
She's
always
so
the
shy.
rock
You know
stars.
she's not gonna be blocked.
She's the smart one on the sofa, may I mention. Okay, so thank you guys all. I want to show you a couple of things that we're giving away tonight. This is a really amazing book. Have you guys heard of Anton, George Anton? He's neat. He's got a couple different books, and if you want to understand money a little bit better, and money hacks, this is the guy. He's pretty darn brilliant. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I can't tell you how many people have stood up in front of meetings and said, oh, the reason I got into investing is because I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Here's the book for you. I brought these from my personal library. This is Buy and Hold by Shoemaker. I don't remember who this is, but I've read it and it's good. Well, my mentors along the way and stuff, people have given me things. That's why I bring them back to you. I just float them around because, these are the types of things that got me off the ground. Yeah, it is a good one. So this is going to be given to you tonight. And then this one is, I read it and I'm going to share it with you guys, and we're just going to pass it around. The Magnolia Story. I thought that was really fun because I like them a lot. They're one of my favorite shows to watch. I like who they are, and this kind of goes into kind of their how and why they got started, and it's kind of cool. So this is another book we have. We also are giving away 2 of the You Got This REN books. We have 2 t-shirts, and we have, and don't forget, we have Ignite for tonight. So how many of you are becoming members? I know a lot of you came up to me. Thank you so much. I did a really poor job last month. I'm sorry. A lot of you came up to me, but it was like we were a little short-handed. It went over, and I was a little bit frazzled. So I want to make sure that I see you, that we get your form filled out, when we send you to the right place so that you actually get put into the raffle for that Ignite tonight. So please see me right after we're done, and right after Clarissa, and then we will get the raffle going, okay? Thank you guys. Without further ado, Clarissa McPack. She's been waiting and waiting and waiting.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Let me get out of here.
So, I guess I'll just share my story, and then I want to be of service to you guys. So, if you have questions, just let's talk, right? Like, just be interactive. If I can give you some real practical answers, just ask me the very specific question. Like, how do I do this very specific thing? Okay. So I actually also came from corporate America. I used to be a car designer. Maybe you know, it doesn't sound so corporate, but I was in that environment. And I used to love it, because I would show up to work and I would just sculpt and play all day long. So it was a dream job. But I realized that after a while, you know, nothing new was happening. All we did was just do it again and do it again. So I got tired of that, and then I tried to quit, and I couldn't. I couldn't quit because it was a really good job. It was really hard to leave a good job. And I actually did love it, but it was a little bit frustrating. So when I finally decided to leave, I didn't know it, but I had vested a pension that I didn't know existed. So I quit, and they're like, okay, well, here's your pension, $12,000, you know? I'm like, oh, okay. So what happened was, about a week or so after that, it was when I think the Learning Annex was the name of it. They came down to the LA Convention Center. Does anybody remember that?
Oh, yeah.
This is 2005, by the way. And I decided to go to one of these free, you know, become a real estate millionaire in one day type of seminars. And that day I heard, like, the guy who coaches you on real estate, the guy who coaches you on stock trading, which also sounded amazing. And there were, like, you know, 4 people. And when, you know, the guy who sold the real estate coaching thing was really good. He was excellent on stage. And I think a lot of people bought his coaching program that day. I ran with my $12,000 pension. I liquidated it, and I paid all the taxes on it. And I said, I'm going to use some of this money for real estate. So I paid for coaching, and that's really how I got started, right? Wow. It cost me, I think, like $5,000. It was ridiculous. Like, I would never conceive of investing that kind of money into teaching, but it was free money. And my husband and I had read, where is it? The Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? So we always dreamt, you know, someday we'll own a rental, and it'll be like easy, monthly, free money that just shows up in your mailbox. Now, I know there are some landlords in here, right? Like, how easy is it to just get your money in your, I don't know. It wasn't easy for me. But I didn't have a job anymore, although they hired me back to consult. So after I complained, I quit. They're like, okay, we'll give you what you want, but just consult for us. I said, okay, perfect. So I actually went back, and it gave me leverage to not have to show up every day and to start learning how to invest. So within those first 9 months, I actually went through the whole program. It was weekly coaching, and it pushed me to do all of the homework, and that's how I got started. By the end of 9 months, actually, I had a baby, and I had a duplex. So those 2 things happened at the same time.
Twins? Twins!
I guess triplets.
Yeah.
So that's how I got started. What I did was, I was very active. So I know that the topic today actually is, let's see, passive income, right? I just went to the Noteworthy conference today. It's in Anaheim, it's 3 days. Not that I am promoting them specifically, you know, you guys should join WREN for sure. But this t-shirt, when they gave it to me when I first walked in, this is so true. This should be everybody's goal, right? So, and what's interesting is that when I first dreamt of being in real estate, I thought that what I was doing was learning to create passive income, but it wasn't. Because what ended up happening is I created a job for myself. It happened to be in real estate. I started looking for property, I started looking for money, I started looking for deals, for partners, for property managers, for all the service providers, and that was my life, you know, and actually I loved it. But it's active, right? You know. So, fast forward a few years, I just got bitten by the bug, and I started, you know, buying properties. It was 2005, 2006, yeah, it's easy to find money, easy to finance and everything, and then, you know, everybody knows what happens, right? So the market tanked. So at that point, I had probably about, I think it was like 20 doors maybe, and I thought, oh, this is so easy, I can learn to do these things like Rochelle, she accelerated really fast. It burnt me out. I ended up getting into too much, not really knowing what I was doing, and I wasn't really tapping into all of the support that I needed to grow, to learn, to have someone who knew what to do by my side. So in the end, I ended up liquidating what I had rescued, and at the same time, I decided to go into flipping. So this is now 2008, 2009. I came together with a friend, and we met some people locally. We started just looking at what people were doing, and we met some people we really liked. So I would say my first experience with real passive investing wasn't me as a passive investor, but connecting the passive investor with the deals. So this team we joined, it was in Bakersfield, California, and this team was flipping about 100 houses a year at this time. So we just liked the team, the guys, we had good rapport, we tested doing one deal with them, and it was like, oh yeah, this is gonna work. So then I realized, I don't have any money, so this is just a little bit of money that we could put together, my friend and we realized we have to learn how to raise capital. So that was in 2008, I think. And so in terms of raising capital, really the people on the other side of the aisle are gonna be your passive investors. So if that is a topic for tonight, I can answer any questions that you guys wanna talk about. But it basically was the first time that I realized, they're not doing anything, but they're getting passive income. I'm doing a lot of work, and I'm also in charge of making sure that I can return their money. It was a lot of stress. And I was driving to Bakersfield back and forth, and by this time, I had my second child. So I was where you guys are right now, right? I was obsessed with real estate. I loved it, and it was so profitable, but it was a lot of work, right? And what ended up happening is, I never saw my husband, I never saw the kids, and it was becoming a nightmare at home. So after 3 years of doing that, it was almost like, okay, do I, I may even lose my marriage. I mean, it was bad because I was never home. So I decided to shift out of that. I had a little fund that I had created. I closed it, I gave all the money back, and I started rethinking, how can I do this? Because yes, I love real estate investing, but I don't want to lose my family over it, right? So that was maybe around 2011, 12, the market shifted again, and coincidentally, my team started moving down into LA. So I kind of took a break. I was a little burnt out. And when my team went back to LA, I thought, maybe I'm gonna come back in more passively. So I still have some money I can raise. I still have some money on my own. Maybe I'll just come in like, hey, I'll just put a loan on this. I'll help you with your flip, but I'm only gonna lend. I don't wanna be involved in anything else. And that's one of the first things that I did where it was really just passive, except I wanted to go and drive those properties and see them. Because I thought it was still in the middle of it, right? And then I realized there's no job for me. Like, I don't need to do anything. I show up and everybody's doing their job, so, they're just making sure they're taking good care of my money, they're using it. So, let's see. One really interesting thing happened at that same time. A friend of mine had bought a bunch of duplexes in Indiana. And then I realized he was trying to finance more because he wanted to buy the entire development. And so he asked me for a loan. And I thought, well, it's not a lot of money. I can probably lend him the money to go do the thing, which is what I was doing before. But now I was on this side of the table. And I did that deal, and then something interesting happened. About a year later, I realized that I hadn't done anything about this deal. But every month I was getting a check, every month. And it hit me. This is passive investing. All I have to do is check to see if he's paying the taxes. We talk every once in a while, we run into each other, But really, this is passive investing. So ever since then, I'm looking at real estate investing in a completely different point of view. Because my kids are now in middle school. And so since I took that break, I became the mom who drove them to school, who took them to birthday parties, who actually was part of their lives, And that's not how I grew up. I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. My parents both worked all day long, and we were religiously every night we had dinner together as a family. And I think that's how my family really held together. You know, everybody is very tight. But my parents, they were not driving me to school or going to my volleyball games. You know, they were not around. It was weird. I wanted to be a part of that. So integrating being a mom with being able to do some passive investing, maybe get a little bit active if I got bored, you know, that's kind of the blend that has been happening over the last 3 years or so. So my main focus now is investing in paper. I love investing in paper because I never want to have tenants again. I don't want to have and run to the rehab and check out what's going on. Although I still am able to do deals with my partners who do the rehabs, but I'm only invested as a lender or as a connection to my money partners. So that's pretty much how I run things. Yeah, so I am more passive in that sense. And then I'm also a bridge for my network. So it works out really well. I work from home, I only work part-time, and it's like I'm an investor by day and a mom by afternoon.
Awesome.
It's really a great balance. But you know, when you gather so much experience, then it's kind of like a lot of things come by your desk. And you probably know this now. Sometimes you gotta pick and choose, like, do I jump in again? Do I do it again, you know? And so about a year ago, because I like working with paper so much, I decided, okay, I'm gonna be a little bit more active. And so I actually now have a little business in marketing where I do a lot of direct mail, searching for people who did seller financing when they sold their houses. And so when I find those across the country, then I have a choice of either buying them for myself or for one of my money partners, or there's a lot of buyers, so I can always find a buyer for the right thing. So I do still active as an investor because I like being active, but I am mostly prospecting and looking for more passive things so that I can be at home, right? So that's my quick story. Now, I did put these things in my pocket because this is a really important tool that, you know, some mentors that I have walk around with a calculator. And everybody knows what this is. So this is, if you're not like real good at doing head math, like me, then this is a really useful tool. Now they have it on the phone, so of course I have an app, right? But sometimes you run out of battery. So then I also have this one, right? It's interesting, sometimes you do calculations on a deal and you think you're gonna make money, or you know for sure you're gonna make money. But actually when you punch it in and you realize, oh, actually that makes no sense. Like, I could do better doing something else. So learn to use this tool because this for certain will show you what you're doing. But not only that, you can then use this as your backup when you're working with people who are lending you money, right? Or when you are looking for partners of any kind. This is like facts, right? And then you can also use this tool to adjust how to solve the problem of the person that you're dealing with, right? So ask me if you want anything about this. It's very easy to learn to use it. And
let me jump in and say that there are two people that have taught me how to use that calculator. There are two classes. One is Buddy Broom, and I believe it's just BUDDYBROOME, buddybroom.com. Buddy Broom is a real estate, Buddy Broom is a lawyer and a real estate investor, primarily in the Long Beach area. Super great guy, and he does a calculator class to the public, and sometimes he does it privately for groups, and then you can just kind of like, you know, you can attend those. And it's not expensive, and it comes with one of those calculators, his class. I want to say it's $150 or something for the class. There's another gentleman who does it. What's his name? Help me out. Bill Tan. Bill Tan also does the calculator class as well. He's been doing it forever and ever.
And he's local.
And he's local, yeah, he's local as well. So Bill Tan,
He also has a.
he's actually, he's a,
group too.
yeah, he's out in more LA. Bill, Buddy Broom, I think, actually lives in Long Beach, but either way, they do classes in southern, in these areas here in LA, Inland Empire, and Orange County. So if you need their information, you can always, send me a text message.
And then third grade, Gary Johnson.
Gary Johnson.
Oh, Gary
Sure.
Johnson too, but he doesn't really spell
He
that.
doesn't do them.
He doesn't, yeah, he
anymore.
doesn't. I just got an email from him.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
One now?
Is he doing
Yeah.
one?
Financial
Maybe
freedom
once
in
a
September.
year. Yeah, maybe once a year. So Gary Johnson, oh yeah, he's an oldie but goodie. We've got some really great
He's the
men.
granddaddy of the calculator class.
Yeah, we've got
Yeah,
some
that's who
granddaddy
Buddy learned
investors.
from and from Bill
But he
Tan.
learned
Yeah.
from him and Bill Temple.
It's true. Yeah, Gary Johnson is the OG guy.
But I'm actually wondering, like, when you guys read the topic for today, you know, what made you come here? Who wants to share, like, what is something that you thought, I want to go to that meeting because I want to know this?
They wanted to see
Anything
me.
specific?
They wanted Olive Garden. What are you talking
I
about?
wanted the wands.
I mean, is anybody
I mean,
interested
not at all.
in just being more passive?
Yes.
Or are you all like, no, I'm gonna be
Oh, I've got
active?
some questions about what you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like when you're doing, two things, when you're doing notes,
Mhm.
let's say you don't have a completely, you know, if you already had $10 million, really what's the problem? That's not really an issue. So, so how are you buying the notes when you have to borrow money to buy the note? And then, you say you are also you're a conduit with other investors. Is that like, do you get a one-time payment for doing it, or do you end up being part of the note?
This is a really good question. So
Yeah,
here's
how do you
what I
start from nothing?
discovered. Huh?
How do you start from nothing?
Exactly. How do you start from nothing? You guys have heard of wholesaling, right? So there's a few parts to a deal. Most people who want to invest in real estate, they say, oh, but I can't do it because I don't have any money. And I didn't really grasp that until maybe halfway into my investing career, because I didn't really understand the pieces that it takes to make a deal work. So the truth is, you don't need money. You need one of a few things, right? You need to be able to find a good deal. That means you need to recognize a good deal,
Analysis.
or have good friends who know how to do that, who show you deals, right? So that's like one aspect of it. The other aspect is the money, right? So maybe you have some money, but maybe you don't. But maybe you know people with money, right? So that if you don't have the money, you go find the money. Because the deal is not gonna be a good deal unless it attracts money. So I think you guys probably already know that. It's super basic. And so another way is credit.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that I think has been kind of a common theme here is that the mindset of what it takes, right? You said, you know, I didn't know I could do it this way, and then I realized I could. And you know, you were talking, and Rochelle was talking, and it is the mindset. So even though sometimes what she says is this is super basic, what is really behind that is your belief, right? So I just want to bring that to people's attention, because that really is the part that needs to change, and that's one of the pillars of WREN, you know, because we talk about that. We talk about how your belief has to change in order for you to be able to open up and do these deals, right? Just sitting here listening to them makes you start to realize you can do them, but you actually have to embody that to actually do it yourself, right? So then your belief system has to change to do that. And it's been such a common theme tonight, I kind of wanted to just bring that to everybody's attention. So thank you for sharing that, because it is simple, but you have to.
Well, you bring up a good point. Here's what happens. You want to do something, but you don't know how to, and then all these fearful thoughts come in, right? How am I going to do this? What if I fail? What are people going to say? You know, like all this fear. So
I ask somebody for money.
This is pretty common. Most of us go through this. Now, it really comes up to each one of us on how we deal with it, right? So if you let the fear drown you, you're not going to get anywhere. And just like you mentioned, the law of attraction, I mean, they not only do you drown in it, but then you are attracting all these other negative things, right? So how do we get past that? I think for me has been when I network with people like you guys and I connect with someone, there's like a special energy sometimes that you share with someone. And then that connection really helps you start developing the trust. And what I do is I look for that energy first. And then if that person, if I can learn something from them or I can teach them something, then that's where the beauty of it, no? It is. So, I mean, definitely when it comes to passive investing, in my case, to go back to your question, like, all of my money is placed. So then how do I find the other money, the new money, to be able to continue to do deals, right? I only work with a handful of very trusted money partners. So I know that the most important thing is that there's trust, because
One thing specific to note, one thing with a rehab, it costs this, you're gonna make this, there's this much, okay, I get that. That is easy to wrap your head around. With notes, it's just slightly different because it's all cash. You can't sell or finance a note, it's already a note, you know what I mean? So that's kind of part of, as you continue, that's part of the wrapping my head around the.
Right, so the more you learn about investing in real estate, the more you come to realize that there are many ways to exit, and you just have to be creative, right? So the most basic would be like, well, you buy the property, it must cash flow if you're gonna hold it as a rental so that you're putting money in your pocket. But you don't realize that actually you could also buy that property and not have any cash flow, but you are earning depreciation on your loan. So maybe that's a benefit to you. Or maybe you bought the property, doesn't have any cash flow, but you know that you're gonna sell it because that market is crazy and it's appreciating 10% this year and you're gonna sell it next year. So these are more straightforward answers because of property. When it comes to paper, it's almost the same thing. It's almost the same thing. It's just that you're looking at it from a completely different point of view, right? You gotta figure out how you're going to solve the same types of problems. It's just that nobody's talking about it because people know how to rent things, but people don't know how to flip notes or how to rehab a note or modify it, you know? So it's just more of the same, you know?
I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
So you initially said something about wholesaling. So are you finding a way to wholesale notes? You're just asking for a fee for your investor too?
So at this point, I'm only doing two different kinds of strategies. So one way is, first of all, I find it, and either I buy it and then sell it, right? Or I refer it to a buyer. And in both of those cases, I'm either like making a fee or I buy it for a price, I sell it for another price. It's like a wholesaling deal.
So my question for that is, you can't tie it up like a real estate contract, right? So you can't have it under contract. How does that work? You have to trust the person to pay you, or how does that work to get paid?
Basically the borrower, this is probably maybe more advanced for some of you, but the borrower is making their payments, right? So the borrower really has no idea that you're buying this note until it finally happens. When you're like in escrow, you're gonna contact the borrower. You're gonna make sure to double check all of your due diligence about the borrower, right? And that's what is gonna let you know that you can close this deal, right?
So the escrow is protecting you, not rather than the contract itself.
There's no escrow. So you make an agreement to purchase this note from the seller, and the people that I work with are all mom and pops. I'm not buying any institutional paper.
Yeah.
So this is basically, you sold your house and you sold it on terms. So there was no Truth in Lending Act. There was no 50-page questionnaire.
Right.
None of that. None of that exists. This is like a transaction between two private individuals. So you make an agreement to buy it at a certain price. Then maybe it takes 4 to 6 weeks for me to do my own due diligence, and then we close.
Okay.
So during that time, I'm either looking for money, looking for buyers, deciding to keep it, you know.
Is that the process like 4 to 6 weeks, or what's an average of?
That's
deciding to
average.
buy it?
It depends on how quickly. The problem is that people that I deal with take a little time to send documents over. So I can't do any due diligence until they send me the actual copy of the note, the actual copy of the deed, the settlement statement, so all these things we ask for. And sellers, you know, there's a lot of education that goes on over the phone so that they trust you, they can actually send you those documents.
So you say you do marketing, right, for finding deals. So none of those like websites out there for finding notes are good. Do you use any of those?
I don't, but I don't know if they're good or bad. I assume they're good
You don't
because
have any
it's,
experience using them.
no, not really. I know that there are like trading companies out there that are online, and I know of people who have bought notes online, but I've never done it.
Could you describe what you look for when you buy a note? What's a good deal for you? What would be, when you get information and you
That's a really good question. So what I find is that everybody has a different answer, okay? So when I look at an investor or one of my money partners, somebody who wants to buy a note, I just interview them because for me a good deal might be something completely different than for them. For example, for me it's very important to have equity in the property. Depending on where it is, if it defaults and I have to go there and I have to flip it because I want to get the money back, that's important to me. I don't want to do that. I really never want to have to flip a house again. You know what I mean? I don't want to have tenants again. Maybe depending, well, maybe. I'm just holding a flip that I did right now, so I shouldn't say that. I actually love tenants. I love the right type of tenant in the right type of house. So, did I answer your question?
No, one thing you look for is equity. Is there
That's one
anything
thing.
else?
In terms of, so let me tell you in generic terms, okay? There are companies out there who will buy it at a certain criteria. And these are institutional buyers. These are banks, for example, or big financial companies. So they do have a specific criteria, right? So they want to see a certain amount of equity in the property. They want to be able to buy it at a certain yield, right? They want to see the credit of the borrower, right? And they want to, obviously they're going to get clean title, insurance, all these things. But maybe you can buy it for a completely different price because you live next door and you know the neighborhood and you know something that the bank doesn't know. So I would say you, as an investor, you gotta dig into yourself and think about how much risk am I willing to take? Am I a high risk taker and can I withstand it? Because you don't wanna just put all your money out there and lose it, right? So you have to decide for yourself what amount of yield would you be happy to get and how much time are you willing to give to doing these investments and how much is a good security for you. Maybe you want to have 50% equity in the property that is secure in the note. Or maybe you don't care about the equity, you care more about the cash flow. So it really depends. Each person is different, for sure. Can I answer any practical questions?
One more for you. When you were investing in your Indiana properties, what made you feel that was a good risk? What research
That is a good question. This was a little while ago when I actually first looked into them, right? The investor who bought these properties is someone that I already trusted. So he has been in a broker for many years. He knows how to run numbers. He's CCIM certified, blah, 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 blah. And so I went more with my gut feeling that he knew what he was doing and that he knew how to hire the right property management company out there to handle the investments. And I understood his strategy of what he was doing because he wanted to buy the whole thing, the whole development, right? So that gave me a little security. I felt like, hey, if he defaults on this loan, I know where he lives. And I know he makes good money as a broker. So I know that I felt like I could get my money back. And I gotta tell you something, he's paid me consistently, automatically, every month for the last, 8 years, how long it's been? It's been a long time. So when you're working with people passively, never default on their loans. If you have to sell your car to pay someone who loaned you money, do it. Because this person, just stay open in communication, let them know you're struggling, the deal didn't go through, something bad happened. Yes, you can both lose your money, you can choose to let it go. But if you want to be able to continue to work with that person, just work it out. Work it out, do what you need to do, and always, always stay in communication with them. Because once you do a couple of deals, something's gonna go wrong. So it's normal, okay? Just know that you wanna be able to survive that without getting into a lawsuit without having to fight with people. So for me, that is the most important thing, having good communication and trust. So, yeah, that's real passive investment. Somebody gives you $1 million, go invest it. It's passive. You know, no fighting, no lawsuits, that takes time to develop, but I think that is probably the most important thing.
I wanna know how I can do it, like how tomorrow I can start buying notes, like what do I need?
Oh, super simple.
Right.
Super simple. There are companies who are now ready. I mean, I would say the simplest way is if you have money right now.
How much money would I need right now?
For example, today I met a company at this event, Trust Deed Investing, right? They are putting together a certain number of investors so that they can lend them money to do deals. And these are all, in this company, they're all commercial deals, for example. And they can take you in at a minimum of $10,000. That's pretty low.
For notes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're being pulled, right? They're being pulled into a fund, and they're either lending on acquisition, lending on development. It's all commercial property, and so there are companies like this out there. And maybe the deals are 9 months. They're everywhere between 9 months and a year and a half, I think is what it said. But this is very simple. You go in there, you invest your 10 grand. I think he said the yields are somewhere between 9 and 12, depending on each one of the deals. It's funny that no one knows these companies exist, but they're out there. And locally, you can invest with anyone who is doing flips, right? They all need money. They all need money. And there are hard money lenders. You can invest with them. You can, right? And there are mobile home rehabbers. I mean, you can invest little chunks of money with mobile homes. You can buy a partial note, you know? You can take a property that you own as a rental and sell it with seller financing. Now you own a note, right? You can then sell that note or trade it for something else.
Now, isn't the attraction of notes, let's say that situation, so I have a house that I sold, seller financing for $100,000, and it's worth $150,000, and they're paying me, say, 8%. So isn't the attraction that I will now turn around and sell you that note for $80,000, so now you're getting a better return on that money because they're still paying that, what would let's say 12%, because I can do that one in my head. Let's say they were paying me 12%, so they're paying $1,000 a month, or is it 1,000? 12.
Let's just
No,
call
it's
it
$1,000 a month. It'll be $1,000 a month on at 12%, and then you buy that for me for $80,000. Now they're still paying $1,000 a month. They don't care. They just got a thing saying now you send it to this address. So now you've borrowed. So now instead of making 12%, you're making 15 or something. I have to pull out my financials, figure it out. Yeah. But so isn't that really kind of the attraction of notes? It's not. Is you generally don't buy a note penny for penny. As a rule, don't you buy a note at a discount? Or
not necessarily. You can sell your house. I mean, it's whatever you want individually as an investor. For example, you sold that house and you sell it with 2 different notes, a first and a second, okay? And say the first, you sell it, you create it at 8%, but you create the second at 9.5%, okay? And you keep 20% of that. Let's say it was $100,000 property. The person who bought it gave you 10% down, 10 grand. And then you gave them 2 notes, you create 2 notes, one at 70 and one at 20, right? 70,000, 20,000. You can hold on to the 20,000 at 9.5% and sell the other one at par. What's the problem?
I don't know.
There's
I
no
don't
problem.
see a problem.
Right? There are people who will buy notes at any kind of yield because they have different kind of interests in why they're buying them.
See, I didn't even think that was a thing. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, since you asked a question about, I came here because it said passive investment, and I wanted to come hear what people were saying, because that's what I want to offer to everyone. That's why I came. I'm not the hard money lender that Karen is, but I want a group of people to take advantage of passive investment. Mailbox, true mailbox money. Being a landlord ain't that.
No, agreed.
So mailbox money is getting a guaranteed investment on your money. That's what I'm offering. Only certain people, I'm not offering it to the world. I just want, a handful of people that, I've done it 25 times already, I can do another 50 times, but I just want people to invest in what I've already done. One house, one person, first trustee, no other person on there, guaranteed, automatic deposit into your checkbook of your account and of your choice, automatic. So it's not maybe as much as 9-10% as these gals are talking about, but it's safe.
Yeah.
So,
But you know, this is what is key though. People, when they think of passive investment, they're maybe, everybody's familiar with the stock market or with a CD at the bank, These investments are passive mostly, right? You're really not doing anything except calling your guy and finding out why the market did this and that,
again,
So,
not passive.
so how do you do that with real estate? My belief is it is done in paper.
And I'm the first trustee person, so I give you a first trustee.
So you
As
just
for-
exchange the money for the paper, there's a security there with the property, and that's it. That's it. I mean, it's never passive because you always wanna take care of your money, you always gotta check certain things, make sure the people you're working with are actually doing what they said they're doing, and even if you trust and you believe in them, things happen. I mean, someone higher up in the group may steal the money. It has happened. It's happened to me. So it's not like you park your money and you run and you disappear. No, I mean, you're making your money work for you, but you gotta keep your eyes on it.